You're watching Cheery TV.
Boom. Down. Ba, 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 ba. This isn't a song, is it? Ba, 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 ba. This is a wrong song. Howdy, everybody, and welcome to the Tate Night Talk Show. We're back. Hey, yo, Soup. Soup's here. Soup, say hi. Oh, there he is. He's so sweet. Ignore all the stuff back there and the gun that's pointing at me. It's not a real gun, obviously. We're once again back. I don't have the soundboard prepared. I've been very, very busy. I guess we can put it that way. Hey, buddy. He's a sweetie. But yeah, I've been a little on the busier side lately. So I apologize for not exactly showing my face on the channel this week. Yeah, I mean, I've been doing some streams, which is about all I've had time for, which is fine. I'm okay with that. But the videos have been pretty fun. I've been trying to get them. I'm trying to do them, I swear. But also, there's a lot of other things that I've got going on that I'm trying to get done. Sorry for the lighting change. Just wanted to check when the actual last video was, but it was a table for one last week, so I apologize for that. But it's okay. Sorry, I'm petting Soup. I'm not doing anything weird down here. You can see him. You can see him. You didn't believe me. Oh, there he is. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Oh, he's getting all cozy. Well, yeah. Hope you're all doing well. Oh, hey. I swear, eventually one of these is going to actually be normal, like a normal beginning. We are here today to discuss, as you can see, the fact that I am interesting. I swears it. I swears it, and there's no universe where I'm not. Because let me tell you, I don't know. But either way, because this all stems from a conversation that I had with my friend last night, actually. Because he was talking about how he got a public speaking class in his college, because he's doing like online stuff, which is awesome and cool. And he has a public speaking class. And one of the things he has to do for a project, or I guess an assignment, is to make a quick little thing saying like the 3 things that are interesting about you. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot to say about people, but he couldn't think of anything. He couldn't, honest to goodness, think of anything. But I mean, I probably could have. I didn't really try very hard. We were kind of having a stupid time, so I was like, well, you got some dogs, and you're friends with me. Like, that's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting, right? Everyone knows me. The only one he had by the time we were done talking about it after like 40 minutes was that he had like 4 dogs or something. Like that was what he considered interesting enough about him, and I gave it to him. So he couldn't even think of anything. And it felt kind of bad. Because I was like, oh man, that's not true. We got some interesting stuff. And like but again, also I wasn't really trying to find anything interesting. But he's a good guy. He's a good guy. He's just. But, it's hard to come up with stuff on the spot, especially for that sort of stuff. But that's why I decided to take a little bit of time and think about some interesting things about me. And actually, I'm just going to throw this in there. Okay. But yeah, so there's always like some interesting things about people, and trying to think of them is kind of tough. And this might be a much quicker episode because I'm only talking about like 3 things. I wanted to do in my head I imagine this being like a much shorter, concise, maybe even like a cool like animated thing, like just like a little like thing, or like I'll be like doing like, little drawings and stuff. But I'm not doing that because I would, but I can't. So maybe I'll use this eventually as like a baseline to do that, but not right now. Not right now. Right now I'm just here to talk about it because it just happened, and I was like, man, that's an interesting point. What is interesting about anyone, me even? Because there's a lot of things that could make you interesting, maybe, as I'll discuss. But I figured let's think about stuff that makes me interesting as a person. But before we do that, I just want to pet Soup some more. But he's so sweet. He's such a little guy. Look at him. He's a little head. He's so cute. He's such a cute guy. He's so sweet and perfect. He's awesome. Okay, but yeah. So we can get into this. So I'm just gonna talk about 3 things that I thought of throughout the day which is really throughout the last 20 minutes. A laugh track would go here, but so is the way. But yeah, so there's three things, and I'm gonna stop trying to scratch my head. I do that a lot when I talk. I noticed that. The moment he mentioned he had a public speaking class, I started thinking about things like I look at myself more on the camera more than I look at you guys. This was not a time to high five. But he wanted to high five. That was cool, huh? Hi. Hey, bud. Hello. Hello, Soup. He's still here. Hello, everybody. My name is Markiplier. You're Markiplier? Wow, that's so cool. But what was I even on about? I literally don't remember. But yeah, we're gonna talk about three things. Is that it? Oh, right, the things. Yeah, I do that a lot. I look at myself more than I look at the camera, so I'm gonna try to do that a little more I'm gonna try to actually get better at doing this sort of stuff, which is weird because I still see myself over like my peripherals. So I'm like, oh, there's something moving over there. Like I always take it as there's something interesting happening over there. This is just a camera, you know. Like I see something over here. I want to look at it. It's just boring, which is strange, which is very very strange. But also, it's just tough for me to do. But hey, we're gonna try it. You think I would have figured this out by now, and if I try, I can fixate on it, and we can get that going. So we're gonna do what we can. We do what we can here. What the hell is that? Okay. Either way. What's up, buddy? What's up? Yeah, other things I do. I like just kind of like scratch my head and like scratch my face and like touch my face. I don't know why I do that. I think it's just like sort of a nervous reflex sort of thing, but stuff I do when I'm publicly speaking or just talking in general, I guess. We be slamming today. It's like 11 at night. We be slamming. So let's get started with the things that I find interesting about myself. These are things that I wrote for me, which is always tough. And I can see why he had problems with this because it's like, why? I feel weird highlighting things about myself. But here we are. So number one, it relates to. I'm just gonna say it. Why am I saying it relates to anything? I'm just gonna say it. I can play, to an extent, the following instruments. So keep score. I don't have pictures that are going to pop up. You think this giant, big area could be used to pop up pictures? No. Bongos, harmonica, bass guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, recorder, kazoo, banjo, spoons, slide whistle, kalimba, maracas, drums, gyro. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Like the little you have like a stick and you rub it on like a big thing with some lines on it. It's cool. Pocket synthesizer, automaton, xylophone, and triangle. And there might be more. I don't know. I haven't had a keyboard or like a in a while. I have like a rollout one that doesn't really work, so I haven't been able to practice that in a while. So I can't tell if I remember anything about it. So somewhere either 17 or 22 or whatever, however many this gets you after this many goes arounds, you know, I have no idea. But a lot of stuff, and again, I can play them to some extent. There's no like consensus that they're all good. It's just that I know the basics, I know the ins and outs, and I could like try and I could succeed eventually with like playing a song on any of those or something on that sphere of music. It's because I guess I don't really know why I'm focused on so many of those. Like if I had to choose ones that I'm like much better at than the others, it'd probably be like the acoustic guitar and the like harmonica, with like a second, like a close third being like the banjo or like I don't know, the kazoo. But you know, it's just I love instruments. I don't know what it is. It's always been a thing for me. It's always been kind of a fascination for me. Like when I was a kid, one of the first Christmas gifts I remember getting. It wasn't the first one, but it was one of the first ones I remember. Was a like big old blue, some whatever cheap ass brand harmonica, probably for children, and I just play the shit out of that. And I had a lot of fun. But again, I wasn't really playing it. It was more so just making noise, so I kind of got taken away from me after a while. But I was having fun. I was trying to understand what was going on, but I didn't get enough time to. And then eventually, like my sister, my older sister, they play guitar, and they had a guitar in their room, and sometimes they'd be gone, and I'd be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna fuck around with this thing." I didn't know what I was doing, so I don't think it was anything good. I thought it sounded fun. I just liked making noise and seeing what it sounded like, and be like, "Oh, that sounds nice. That sounds cool. Or that sounds bad. Let me try this." I just had a lot of fun just experimenting with that stuff, but I never really got a chance to to just have an instrument. Eventually, in like seventh grade, I got bongos because I was like, I want bongos, and my mom was like, all right, here's some bongos, and I'm like, yo, and then I start practicing with them. I actually started practicing. I didn't just da da da. I like looked up like stuff on like how to get good at don't know your butthole, not your butthole soup. But yeah, like he was. Like, I went to go look at like videos and stuff and like online stuff and like just practicing and they told me to stop because it was loud, which is fair. It was pretty loud, but you know, it's kind of what do I do? So I stopped doing that for a long, long time, and until like end of high school, I picked up the harmonica again. But it was a long time after that. Like, it was a few years. And ever since then, I've been kind of like slowly gaining more and more and more instruments and just having a more and more crazy freaking collection of instruments. I love it. I love it over the death. I have so many more on the wish list. I want to get more. I want to just play everything to at least an extent. However many instruments there are, I want them. I want them all. So if you have an instrument and you're not using it, please. This is me asking you not for money, but for instruments, please. I'm not going to give you anything back. I don't know what you're asking for. But yeah, but the thing is, though, which I find is weird, and I think that makes it even more interesting, is that as a kid, I didn't really listen to music at all. Until like middle of high school, towards the end of high school, I didn't listen to any of my own music. Not my own music, but I didn't listen to music on my own. I didn't listen to anything. I didn't care. In fact, I hated listening to music because, like, my sisters would chase me around my house playing Lady Gaga. So it was just a weird thing. It was just a weird thing. I was not that big a fan. Sorry, I'm gonna stop doing that. I told myself, hands on the cat, hands on the cat. But yeah, like I told myself, I just didn't. I was just off. I was just off with music, and so I never listened to anything until like high school, where I found like Jonathan Colton and Weird Al and some sillier songs and stuff, which then probably brought me to the sillier instruments. I do have a tiny little accordion that I've never actually tried to play because it's so loud. Because ever since I've been told I was loud, I always kind of worry about being loud. But yeah, that's just I got one of those as well. But yeah, like I started getting into some sillier music, and then I eventually found like the Beatles and stuff because of Ninja Sex Party, which isn't just it's a long story. That's actually kind of on the channel already, which is kind of cool. But yeah, so lots of music stuff. In the right suit, lots of music stuff. Which is, well, I just I don't get it. I don't get how I got such a big fan. I guess I always was a fan, and then I just kind of found that again because for a long time I was kind of just shunned away from it. It's nice to get back on things. It's nice to go back into hobbies that you kind of tried before. Second thing, this is a bit more on the embarrassing side, but we're here to talk. I'm having a good time. And again, this could all I think as though that one alone, I guess, kind of could be like its own three things. I had a hard time like not like grouping a bunch of shit together. Like I had a really hard time. Um, but this one is the one I was just typing out before, and I figured it could probably makes more sense in the middle. Just kind of hide it, just kind of tuck it under the rug into the little good bad good sandwich. Well, it's more like good bad bad, but we'll get to that. Um, I this isn't a secret. This isn't a secret. At least for the channel, I've talked about it once, one other time, so it's not that. It's a kind of a secret. I don't know if anyone even saw that, and you can see I'm getting nervous about it 'cause I'm looking at the camera, and I'm going da, 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 da. I'm playing my scalp. That's another instrument that I can play. I'm very good at that. I get a lot of it's not callus. It's the opposite. You get dead skin on my fingers. It's a dandruff joke. Ha ha ha. Again, I don't have a laugh track, so if you guys can laugh at home for me, I'd appreciate that greatly. I was a notorious wetter of the bed. I did that. That was a thing I did. As a good amount of children probably did as well. Not all of them. Obviously, not all of them. Not calling you a piss boy. I'm calling me a piss boy. So big difference. So, but yeah, I did that for a long time, and I'm not even kidding. Like there was a while where I didn't, and then there was a time where it just kicked up again, and it didn't stop. It didn't stop for so long. I think I was like 16 years old when I finally stopped, and I was filled with joy. the sheer, the sheer just excitement that the first, wow, nice camera. The first time, like the first like few weeks of like, cause like it wasn't like every night. It was like every other night, or sometimes it was like a few nights in a row. But like it was always a weird up and down thing. But there was eventually like a period where it was like a week or two without anything happening. I'm like, this is insane. This is amazing. I can just wake up and I can like just do things. I don't have to like just freaking be gross and like be ungross myself for half an hour. Obviously, showering in the morning is a good idea. I didn't really do that much as a kid though. On top of the pissing, I was disgusting. I was a gross kid. That's another fact, I guess. There you go. But either way, yeah. And eventually, I was like, oh hey, this is. The more time went on from me pissing, I was like, this is joy. And then obviously I've taken it for granted now. When I'm like probably 40, honestly, at this rate. When I start doing it again, I'm gonna be real disappointed. But at least I had this time to say, hey, I wake up dry. I'm a big kid now. Let's go, baby. Woo! This is where you be shouting for me. Just kind of get the memo of the conversation, and then you can do the reaction for yourself. This is a thing I do anyway. The hands move no matter what. If I'm talking, I'm using my hands. It's just kind of how it works. Um, that's a thing. That's another fun fact for you. But yeah, I did that for a while. I did that for a long time, and eventually I grew out of it. And then it's been, I think it's only been like 6 years since I've technically like 7ish. I don't. 16 is the guesstimate for my head. It's been a long time, so I forget now. But it sucked. It honestly sucked. Like obviously, even when you're like 8 years old, pissing yourself isn't very fun. But at least then your parents like felt sympathy for you and were like, "Oh, I'm sorry. Let's help. Come on. Let's get you situated." But then I was in like early high school, still doing it, and it was just at that point they were just pissed, and I already pissed. The fact that they were pissed too, it didn't really help. It didn't really help very much at all. But should be stinky like that. Should be stinky like that. It's crazy. And yeah, I mean, like it's gone. It's done now, so I could talk about it as if it's a joke. Honestly, it's very funny. I think it's hilarious. Oh, I don't think it's hilarious, but what I do think is interesting. This is actually a point at the top of the point. I had a really cool laptop, and I actually, you know what? Not only did I have one, I have it in quotation marks on me right now. Oh wait, did that show? No. Okay, there's like a barcode on the top. I'm gonna cover that. A Windows Surface, like with the inside, it's like a tablet laptop thing. It's really cool. It's a really cool laptop. I had it for a good while, as in like high school. My mom got it for me. Really cool. Like the most expensive thing I had at the time. It probably for a while. But it one day I went to bed watching something on it, and I didn't think to move it from where I had it, and I had it on my bed. And as you remember from a couple minutes ago, I pissed on that bed quite frequently, and I happened to piss on that bed that night. so I destroyed it with the flooding that with the Midas touch, but instead of gold, it's piss. So I broke it, and I was ashamed. I hid it away in a shelf, in a drawer. Sorry. For months. I didn't say a damn word. And then eventually, like, the word got on that I wasn't using my laptop, that I was using literally every day for a while. I haven't seen it in like months. And I'm like, oh yeah, it broke on me. It broke. It stopped working out of nowhere. I don't know why. And then they brought it to Best Buy to fix it, and they did. No charge. The warranty was still there. Everything was good. They did it. I didn't tell them why it broke, so they had no reason to suspect fraudulent activities or wee-wees, anything. I don't know. And then I get it back like a few days later. I'm like, yo, it's working again. This is amazing. I started using it a ton again. Until 2 days later, not even kidding, 2 days later, I do the same mistake, and the same thing happened. And so I said, shit. Oh well, I guess I'm not meant to have this. And I didn't say anything about it again. Actually, I did. I guess that it stopped working again, and then I was like, I guess I'm not even gonna bother. I didn't even bother telling my mom because I was like, I don't want to waste her time. And I know, obviously, I wasn't gonna learn, so there was no point. So I didn't, and I still have it. As you can see, that's the one. That was the second one that I got. It should be working. It should be in completely working order, and it should be a really nice laptop. It could have been a really good, cool thing. I pissed on it. so, so good stuff all around. Isn't that right, Sue? Ain't that right, buddy? You don't piss on things. You piss in the litter. He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Stinky likes to piss on people. Not on people, but like one time he tried to piss behind my head. He's like I don't know why. He just got greedy. So I was laying down and he got behind me and started pissing. I'm like, no. It was really weird. It was really weird. It was funny. It was hilarious, but it was on a couch, so it was kind of annoying to clean up. That's another interesting thing. Throw that on the list. It's probably like if I edited more, which I want to start doing eventually, I promise. I would have like a counter about how many actually interesting things I've spoken, and that's probably like number like 7 or something. So I'm a pretty interesting guy. I'm still looking at myself. I'm trying. I'm trying. I'm actually trying for once. Most of the time I say that I'm not, but this time I'm actually trying. So bear with me here. The third and final, even though there's technically 4 things here, but the last bit I don't really think is a fact or an interesting thing about me. It's more so like a synopsis of the entire thing. So we're gonna save that for the end as like a little discussion. But the third thing is that I'm not really good at anything to the extent where I would call myself good at it. Like, I'm 22. I would consider most of my friends or most of like the people around me, they have something they're good at. Like whether it's just like social skills or a talent or a hobby or something that they've been putting a lot of time into or something that they're just naturally good at, they have that. I don't. I don't think I do. I genuinely don't think I do. No matter, despite all of the hobbies and the things that I've sunk myself into, I cannot. I'm not good at them. I just don't think I'm better than some people because I've just tried to do it. But like the way I do things, I don't really do things in a way that gets me to like the next step, the next step, the next step. I just kind of like find a step that like I'm trying to do something at, and I stay at that step for like ever until I need to go up a little bit. Then I'll go up a little bit, and then that's my threshold. And it gets kind of, but it's such a big spacing. It's not like I'm actually pushing myself to get higher. It's just that I get higher when I get higher. So it doesn't really happen at a very fast pace. So most things I kind of just get hard stuck. And so it's like, hey, what are you gonna do? I mean, it's my life, my hobbies, I guess, and I have quite a lot of them. I listed a few on here. Music. It's like making music, not like listening to music. If you think you're good at listening, you know what? People are good at listening to music. I'm not. I can't. Like I record like myself playing something, and I'm like, okay, what was that? What was that note? What was that chord? No fucking clue. No, absolutely no idea. I have no idea what I played, and I have to just sit there and go through everything again. I'm like, okay, well, there I found the one. Now I gotta do it again and again and again. It's really fun. It's really fun. Drawing. I used to love drawing and like doodling and little comics and stuff, and like that's why I wanted to do the animation stuff. I think it could be really fun, but I'm just not good at it. I've never once thought I was good at it, especially because I have 2 siblings who are amazing, talented artists in that like the art, like the physical art, like the painting and the drawing and everything like that. They're so good at it. That's the best thing I've done, and it was a Bob Ross ripoff, basically. So it's not that great. If I try to make something original, like if I try to draw something, it can be good if I have something to base it off of. I need a muse, and also more than likely enough, like a tracing tool. But otherwise, it looks like shit because I'm not good at keeping the core facts, and I'm not good at like I'm good at thinking of an object. Like, if I think of, like, for example, BMO from Adventure Time, I can think of him, he's a little tealish blue, little cute, like Game Boy, but, like, bigger. He's cool. He got the screen for a face. He's got the little dots and the smile over his mouth. He's got the buttons. He's got he got all the buttons on his body. He's got the little 2 USB drives on the bottom. He's got his little feet. He's got his little arms coming out of the O for the BMO. But if I try to draw that without seeing a picture of BMO, It's all gone. It's all gone. None of that sticks in my head. Photo editing. This is probably one of the things that people tell me that I'm good at more because I do all the little photo edit things for my family and they think it's amazing. I think it's really good. But I don't think so at all because I look at the thing I made and I can see all the things I could have done better, but I didn't know how to do better. But I take shortcuts, so I have no idea how to do better at it until I like sit there for like 4 hours and I'm like, okay, I figured it out. Now I can do it consistently. But until I hit that point, no idea. It's hard to do. Video creating, obviously, you guys have seen that. I have good ideas, I think, for videos and stuff. Just the execution does not, does not, it doesn't. So, yeah, I love video. I love making videos and stuff. I just am not, like, there was a time, like, when I first started doing, like, this, and I did it daily, that I was good. I wasn't good, but I was getting better, and, like, I was trying to edit more and more and more into the videos, but then I realized I couldn't do it daily. So if I wanted to edit like that, so I was like, you know what? I'm not editing. I'm not gonna lower the video quality or the amount, the quantity. I'm lowering the quality. You know, the thing that everyone wants more than the quantity. Yeah, I'm getting rid of that. Hey, sorry, Soup. My leg's starting to hurt. He's just a sweetie. But yeah, so I really should get better at that. Oh, when though? Like, again, it's a matter of like, how they are now. I'm pretty happy with. They could be better, but I also have a lot of other things that I'm working on, such as these things that I've already mentioned, and then more things to come. I'm just gonna rapid fire the rest of these. Acting, collecting, yeah, you can get good at that. Decorating and cleaning, kind of loop those together for like interior decorating and like cleaning and stuff like that. Accents and impressions, I love doing that, but I never consider myself good at it. Gaming, building things, etc., etc. There's a lot of things. There's a lot. I have a lot of things I like to do. Board gaming, video gaming, by either one. Reading. I don't consider myself good at that at all. I don't consider that a hobby either. So that's fine. I just saw books behind me, so I'm like, maybe that. But yeah, I'm just not. I don't consider myself good at anything that I like to do. But I just like to do them because I just find them interesting. I find them fun. I don't know. It's confusing to me, I guess. But you know, like it's like, and again, I can like get better at them, but I have to like actually try to get better at them, which it's hard for me to like try to get better at something once I get the bare bones minimum down in my head. It's like I'll work at something for like weeks to like get the brass tacks, or like days, most likely days, to get the brass tacks or something, and I'm stuck at that until I'm thinking I want to do something else. Then I want to go a little bit higher. But it takes longer than it should to get to the next step because I'm so comfortable with being at that level. I'm okay with that. I could move up, but I don't. So I want to, I should, but that also means lowering the amount of things that I like to do. And I like doing stuff, man. You can't stop me. You can't stop me at all. So that is my three interesting things about me. To go over them all, I've played quite a lot of instruments. I play a lot of them. Well, I play to an extent a lot of them. Some of them better than others. I I used to piss myself. I stopped at 16, and before I did, I broke two laptops basically, not just one. I broke two laptops, and I wouldn't consider myself good at anything that I do, which is kind of a bummer, but I'm fine with it, so it's cool. I consider myself good, but not like I would consider myself getting good, not necessarily good, which I'm okay with getting good, but there has to be push to get to good in order for getting good to be anything more than bad, you know? So, either way, what do I know? I'm literally am 22 and an idiot, and I just have a lot of things I like to do. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Just great. It's fun stuff. But yeah, I mean, I just like doing stuff, man. Doing stuff's fun. Doing stuff's fun. So the more things I can do, the better. But yeah, so with that, the other thing that I wrote down was that I have 3 cats. I'm just kidding. I do have 3 cats. I do have 3 cats. This is one of them. He's looking over there because there's something happening in the kitchen. What is it, buddy? What is it? What is it? You're so sweet. I love you. But yeah, that wasn't really a thing that I was gonna mention. I thought that was kind of funny. But generally speaking, this was supposed to be a point, but it is pretty counterintuitive in the point, I would say. But I'm okay with not being very interesting. Because, I mean, like, there's a lot of things that I like to do. There's a lot of hobbies that I have. And there's been a lot of interesting moments that come from these things that I do. The hobbies, the work, the school that I've done. Like, there's some cool things I could say. Like for instance, with like school, like mock trial stuff. Because mock trial is like some of my favorite stuff I did in like the later bits of my schooling, I guess. There were several times during that where I did like a Boston accent, and I was like just having a really fun time. They loved how I acted and everything, and even like during the competitions, the enemy teams and the judges and stuff always thought like I got, not always, but like a couple times they mentioned specifically that they thought I was from Boston. I like did the accent so good they believed it, they bought it. And then when I was like thank you, and I didn't have the accent, they're like what the hell? I was like, they always were like, you came, because I always was from Brooklyn, so they'll always be like, oh yeah, so when did you come down from Boston? Like how long have you been here since you came from Boston? Like no, 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 just having a good old time, just having a good old time making funny voices. So I felt really proud of myself after that. Um, and there's been several times where I've helped like people at work doing things that are not necessarily part of the job, like people fainting and me having to go over there and catch them before they fall on the ground and then call an ambulance and make sure everything is good. Like helping people at very varying degrees. Like someone needs help grabbing an item off a shelf. Someone's dying, there's a very big pinpoint there. Sometimes people come in and they're getting scammed. I have to like spend an hour with them sometimes, just going through the process of all that, which I wouldn't say is interesting, but it's more interesting than the normal days, I guess. So, but there's a lot of things that go on. That's why I did This Week in Retail. That's why I still want to do This Week in Retail. I'm just really bad at writing things down, but I like going over the week and getting the highlights, because ultimately I do think, even though most days are pretty bland, there is something interesting that happened. You kind of just gotta look for it sometimes. But sometimes the interesting things are very obvious, like some asshole customers or some just crazy moments. Like I'm not gonna give any examples. I've given plenty over the years. Go back to Stranded Deep in Conversation, find some This Week in Retails, and listen. Nah, I'm just kidding. But well, I mean, you could. It'd be cool. But yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot of things that I could talk about, like from like my like hobbies that have gotten me into some interesting things, or like my other things that have gotten me into doing interesting things. But that's the thing. I wouldn't consider myself interesting because of those things. I'd consider the things themselves interesting. Like I went to go see the total eclipse. Like I thought that was cool. I thought I really wanted to do that, and I begged my family to help me get there, and we all went there, and it was a great time. It was an amazing event, and I loved every minute of it. But that doesn't make me interesting. Having seen that, the event is what made the story interesting, not necessarily me being a part of it. So it's like there's lots of interesting things, but I don't think I'm an interesting person, and I don't think like many reasons why people consider themselves interesting are good, interesting things about you. Like, especially like hobbies and stuff. Like, I get it. Hobbies are awesome. Again, I have a ton of hobbies, so I'm not one to diss hobbies, but I wouldn't call anyone interesting because of a hobby, at least on a fundamental level, because hobbies are kind of made to be done so per se. So like if someone's doing it, like if it's an odd hobby, then like yeah, it's kind of interesting. But if it's just like, oh yeah, I play an instrument, or hey, I write stuff, or I read stuff, or whatever, it's like it's cool, it's nice to know that about you, but it's not necessarily an interesting fact because it's just like, you know you're doing a thing that a bunch of other people also do. That's, yeah, I guess. At the grand scheme, that's kind of like that. But the smaller scheme, nothing wrong with finding something interesting that somebody does. Someone can like paint. Painting's not a very interesting hobby, not a very interesting thing, but then they can make a very interesting thing. They could be an artist making music, not very interesting. They make a really interesting song. Someone can like baking. They can make some interesting food, make interesting combinations of things. They can the thing itself. The actions themselves are not the interesting things. It's the things that come from doing those actions that makes them cool, which is partly why a lot of the things that make someone interesting is mainly just the things that they're doing, creating interesting things, interesting stories, interesting anything other than you, than yourself, I guess. So like if I'm thinking of interesting things generally about me, most of them, in fact everything that I've mentioned, well actually not the pissing the bed, that one's kind of not necessarily me centric either, because a lot of people do that. But like it's just it's hard to say that I'm the interesting one for any of the things I mentioned. It's always things about other things like situationally that are interesting. So it's kind of hard to say that I'm an interesting person. It's hard to say that many people are interesting people. But the things that they do are interesting. Well, not the things they do. The things that they've done are interesting. Like the stuff that they, you know what I mean. If you don't, then I'm not good at this. When did I say I was? But yeah, ultimately, I guess to say an interesting thing about me, I have 3 cats. This is one of them. His name's Soup. He's cool. You love you, buddy. He's sweet. He's like 7.5, 7.25, 7.33. 7.33. He's old. He's an old man. He's a little old man. He's so sweet though. He's a little baby. I love him. But yeah, that's about it. That's about all I have for you guys today. I guess just another apology again for not having any. I had a whole schedule made, and then I said, and I had a doctor's appointment, and then I had some like other things to do, and I said I'm just gonna stream when I can in the morning. I'm really tired. I'm just gonna do that. So I know I do it a lot, so it's not like an apology is really needed. But just thanks for sticking around, whoever does, whoever has for the rest of for the entirety of this. Again, I don't want them to be super long. I don't want to be super short, but I don't want them to be super long either. But yeah, ultimately, all this to say, thank you for tuning in. And tomorrow, I don't think it's gonna be Table for One. I would be surprised because the one I want to play is a little more complicated. So maybe something. Probably not though. But we will be back next week for sure. Schedule will go out on Saturday. It's gonna pick up from where we left off. I'm not gonna skip that week. I'm gonna do the stuff that I was gonna do this week, the next week. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be interesting. I like the stuff that I'm gonna be doing. It's all sounds very fun to me. So I'm looking forward to it. So thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you next time. And hopefully, what comes next is interesting. Not because of me, but because of the thing that it is. You know. Hopefully, hopefully, I hope I'm doing something right. I want to do cooler stuff on this channel. I promise, I do. And I honestly consider the things I'm doing already pretty cool. But I want to try to elevate them. We'll see if I can. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone. I don't remember.